Hello, everyone, and I would like to thank you for joining me tonight for this webinar. It's called How to Find a Hungry Audience for Your Books, Products, and or Services. And this is presented by Sandra N. Peoples from SandraNPeoples.com. I do ask you to excuse my voice. I have a little cold going on, but I planned this webinar about 2 weeks ago. So, um, I don't want to keep my word and get this thing going. So it just turned 7 o'clock here in Michigan. If you hear me clearing my throat every now and then, just excuse me. Okay, so hopefully this webinar will record. I'm going to have a Q&A session at the end. So if you're joining me live, first I need to know if you can see the screen. Okay, and let me see how to do the Q&A here. Okay, so if you're listening and you can hear me, like I said, this is the first time I've done a webinar with Google before. So if you have any questions, put them over here on the side, and then at the end, I'm going to answer the questions. Okay. So let me start this presentation here. It's how to find a hungry audience for your books, products, and or services. And let me do one more check here. With technology, you got to make sure everything's working properly as far as your speakers and all that kind of stuff. It looks like everything's working good, so I'm going to go ahead and start. Okay. So tonight, I'm not going to have you on very long because I do respect people's time. But what I am going to do is I'm going to let you know that if you sign up for more webinars like this, I'm going to do a webinar. Right now, I'm planning on doing at least one a month. That's what I'm starting with now. So what I want you to do is I want you to go to my website, www.sandranpeoples.com, and I want you to fill out the form there so that you can get on my mailing list so that I can let you know whenever I post new training videos or whenever I'm going to do more webinars or hangouts like this, so you'll know about it and you can be a part of it. Okay. So tonight you're going to learn how to find people that are looking for your books, products, and or services, the free tool you can use to find these people and how to use it, and how to tell if your audience is profitable. Now, before we begin, I want you to make sure that you are in a distraction-free, that's supposed to be free environment. Plan on spending at least 45 minutes here with me. I say 30 to 45 minutes. And take notes just in case technology fails us and there's no replay. So who am I? Well, my name is, get off. My name is Sandra N. Peoples. I self-published my first book in 2003. I learned really hard and really fast that the key to making money from being an author was not just from book sales, but on creating products. I have taught thousands of writers about self-publishing since 2004 when I started coaching authors through my blog, courses, and books. Now I'm going to go back to where I said I learned really hard and really fast that the key to making money from being an author was not just from book sales, but on creating products. My very first check that I got from being a published author was 50 cents. And can you imagine telling everybody that you're an author and you have this book out and people expect you to automatically have a Jaguar or a Range Rover or something like that, and your first check is 50 cents. These days, you can't even buy a candy bar for 50 cents. So fast forward to 2004. It was a little later in 2004, like maybe August 2004. I started to create products around the fact that I knew how to publish my own books. And that's something I'm going to teach you tonight too. But I learned how to publish my own books, and I took that process and I started to make audio recordings that outlined the process. I made print books that outlined the process. I taught classes around publishing books, and I made workbooks, everything that could teach people how to publish their own books. I took that process and put it into my own products. And that was when I started to see money from, actually doing books. Like I know some months I had very nice months from, being able to teach the classes and sell my own products. And let's just say I made way more than 50 cents. So why am I doing this? Well, I'm very passionate about creative people, especially writers, since I'm one myself. And I realize that not everyone knows about the many ways that we can make money as writers. And I feel like it's part of my purpose to teach writers how to make a living from their craft rather than continue to scratch and scrape by. This series of free trainings that I'm doing is for the serious writer and author who wants to do what they love for a living, and that's right. Yes, I have a home office. This is for writers who are tired of working jobs that have nothing to do with writing, while non-writers are making a killing in our field. And I'm going to explain that a little more too. So, this series of free trainings is not for those who are satisfied with their current book sales. I mean, if you're making good money selling books, then you still might want to add this information, but this is for the person that wants to know how can they do more with their writing. This is not for those who are happy with their writing career as it stands, because if you're happy, then you're really not looking for anything else. This is not for those who do not wish to implement the knowledge that I'm going to share, and knowledge without action produces no results. So let's begin, shall we? Many writers and authors struggle with getting their work noticed. We publish books that hardly sell. We start blogs that barely get read. We do lots of things to try to spread the word about our work. So why aren't we seeing the results we want? You know, when I first started my blog about publishing, I probably got maybe 10 people to view it in a whole month. And that's because I didn't know half of the stuff that I know now about blogging. But the thing is, I also didn't know who my audience was. You know, it's very important, whether you're a business person or whether you're an author or whatever you may be, it's very important to know who you're doing these things for. Who are you writing your books for? Who are you selling your products for? You have to know this, or else you're just shooting blanks in the dark. And nobody wants to shoot blanks. So you have to ask yourself a few questions. Are you clear on what you're selling and who you're selling to? Do you know how to get clear? Do you know how to find the right people? In order to succeed online or even offline, you have to know who your audience is. If you don't know who your audience is, you will not see the results you want. In fact, you may not see any results at all. You're going to have to do some research to find the right people. Your goal is to find an audience of people who are looking for what you have to sell. You want to make sure that what you have to sell also has an audience that's willing to pay for it. And it all starts with Google. So we're going to take a trip to Google AdWords, and I'm going to see now if I can okay, here, let me see. Okay. So we're going to go to Google AdWords. And if you don't know it by heart, you just type in Google and AdWords to your toolbar. And then this is going to pop up here in your search results. If you don't already have a Google AdWords account, then you're going to want to create one. But I already have one that I don't use. I'm going to just type my password in right quick. Probably should already have that done too. Okay, so once we get to this page, then I'm going to show you how to find people that are looking for what you're selling. Now, I don't use, like I said, I don't run campaigns on Google. I used to back in the day when I first got started. That's why you probably see this big red thing up here at the top. But I don't use it anymore. I just use it now for research. But when you get to Google AdWords and you set up your account, you do have to set up an account first. You're going to go to, come on, page. You're going to go here to where it says tools. And you're going to go down to where it says keyword planner. And you're going to click there. Now, just so you know, using Google AdWords for research is free. It doesn't cost any money to use this. Okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to click right here where it says search for new keyword and ad group ideas. And you're going to click there, and then you're going to see this where it says enter one or more of the following. So when you do this, you're going to want to think about what it is that you're selling. And this is going to kind of give you an idea of if the thing that you're going after is going to be worth the time and the effort that you're going to put into trying to sell it. If what you're putting in here only turns up like maybe 2 or 3 search results, then that means it won't be worth chasing after that. So like, let's say something of the clear blue sky. This will probably be a very good one, but so you're going to put in your word there that you're going to look for. And then you're going to go down here. You want to make sure though, when you go down to targeting, that it shows Google and search partners. Then you're going to click get ideas. And this is just to show you how this works. So you'll know to go in here and see if the word that you're thinking about targeting is a good thing. Now, as you can see, this says that 673,000 people search for computers every month on Google. Now, if I was a person who specialized in computers, or if I was someone who had a blog about computers, or I wanted to write a book about computers, I wouldn't target that word because it's too high, which means it's going to be hard for you to rank for this word. See, the whole point of all of this stuff is to try to get yourself known as an expert. And if you have something that's going to make it hard for you when you first get started, then like computers has 673,000 people looking for it every month. The competition is high. So what I like to do is look for words that have medium to low competition, because that means, that means that there are people looking for it, but not so many people that it would be hard for me if I want to write a book about computer stores, or, you know, if I want to write a book that has something to do with computers, it wouldn't be hard for me to be found on Amazon for this book, or it wouldn't be hard for people to find whatever program I might be selling, or maybe I'm teaching an online class about, you know, how to use computers or something like that. You want to make sure that what you're looking for has at least 20,000 people in total looking for it. No more than 80,000 people, because 80,000 searches a month. Because if you have a bunch of people searching for something, then like I said, that means your competition is going to be really high. Now, I know a lot of people like to write about romance. So even if you write fiction, you can still find out if what you want to write about is a good field to go into. So there are a million people looking for romance a month. The competition is low, but you got a million people looking for it, which means when people do a search in Google, more than likely there are some big companies that are targeting this particular word. So what you want to do is find something more specific to focus your books on, like paranormal romance books or BBW romance or teen romance. These three topics right here are, they fall within our range altogether. So you could pick things like this to focus on, and then that way you can set your blog up if you blog around, either one of these topics. But if you just go blindly and just start writing about romance, you're going to have a lot of competition, particularly from Amazon. If you want to be, if you want to stand out, you need to pick a specific type of niche. Like, let's say you're going to do paranormal romance books. Okay, that's going to be your thing that you're going to talk about, or you're going to write all your books about. So if you go over here to where it says add group ideas, this will also give you a complete number of how many people are searching for things in that specific category. So, like the teen romance, that would be a good one. If you want to write teen romance and you click on it and it breaks down specifically what people are looking for in the teen romance category every month. They're looking for teen romance books, novels, movies, books for teens, romance novels for teens. So, in other words, you want to find something that's going to be very specific. It's going to be easy enough for you to get in and dominate, so that you can start to see money from what it is that you're doing. Now, one thing I notice with a lot of people is um, when people start a new business, they don't understand that everybody is not their customer. I mean, as much as you may want the whole world to be in love with you and whatever it is that you may be selling, everybody is not going to be your customer. There are going to be some people that are they're not going to be in love with whatever you're selling. So you want to try to find the most specific person to market your services to. Now, in order to do that, I always tell people that they should start out with a customer avatar. And what a customer avatar is it's I want you to picture like your best friend as a customer avatar. And what would you say to your best friend that to help you promote your services? When you're talking about your services or your book, how would you describe it to your friend? Then I want you to think about the person that's really going to want your services and they're really going to want to buy what you're selling. You don't want to try to go after somebody who has nothing to do with your product or your service. I'm checking now to see if we have any questions so far while I drink some water. Now you have to excuse the background noise. One thing about when you have a live conversation is you also have live stuff going on. Like I said, I work from home, so you're gonna hear. Well, not when I'm doing business calls, but you're gonna hear, kids and everything in the background. Okay, so there are no questions so far. So what I want to do is go back to the customer avatar to explain it a little better. When you're trying to find the ideal customer, when you're coming out with your elevator pitch. Even writers have to have an elevator pitch. So when you're coming up with this, you want it to be something that you can sit down and explain it to your best friend easily. But your customer avatar is not going to be your best friend. I have to clarify that. Your customer avatar is going to be the person that you see buying your products or buying your books. So if you see that the person, your ideal person that you see buying your books, if that person is a woman in her mid 30s, she works in corporate America, she drives a Lexus to work, she shops at Macy's, things like that. If that is the ideal person that you see, um, if that's the person that you see buying your products or buying your books, then that is the person you need to be marketing to. But the key to you to finding out, if people are buying what you're selling, is to do your research first. That's why I took you to Google AdWords, because if if your customer avatar is a person that's in her 30s, like I said before, but she doesn't buy the kind of purses that you want to sell. Like, let's say you're selling purses. Okay, you wouldn't want to waste your time marketing to the woman in her 30s. Maybe the person who wants to buy your book or your whatever you're selling is a person that is in college, and maybe they need your services more. So you need to find out where the person in college hangs out, where the person in college, what kind of car they drive. You have to be specific on the kind of person um, that you want to approach with your product. Now, books, contrary to what people may tell you, books are products, and we have to stop thinking about our books as just something that we have on hand. Books are products that have to be sold, and when people start to think about books that way, then you'll start to see more money coming in to you, as far as book sales, because you're going to get better with promoting. Now, like I said, tonight was the first one of these hangouts. It probably is not the best hangout because um I have a cold, and I had some background noise and things like that. So, in doing so, I've taught my own self something, that you have to really plan for everything, even if it means going in a closet somewhere to record your webinar, because you don't want so many distractions like I had. So I apologize to anybody who might be watching this on my website, or anybody who might be watching this live on YouTube, or wherever you might be watching it at. I do apologize for the background noise. But to recap what I talked about, you do want to do your research so that you can find the right people, because you want to have an audience of people who are looking for what you have to sell. Now, because my teachings are geared towards writers, people who want to build a writing business, you need to find people who buy what you're selling as far as your writing goes. Your writing is a service. You're offering a service to people, and writers are very much in need, very much in need. People need bloggers. People need their websites updated. People need the material written for the back of their books. People need books written. People need writers. So, contrary to what people may tell you, writers are in demand. I took a class a couple years ago, and the class was $297. And what they taught me in that class was about copywriting, basically. And when I first heard about the copywriting class, I had no idea what copywriting was. I had never heard of it before. People told me that the only way you could get into copywriting or get into any kind of writing like that was if you went to college and worked for somebody and took mediocre jobs and things like that. But then once I finished the training, I saw that there were people with big businesses who needed people like me who had, learned how to write, basically, learn how to sell them using writing. And people were willing to pay nicely for it. So don't fall for any of these scams out here. The people are trying to sell where they might say something like, if you pay us $50, we'll let you see all the sites that pay, or sign up for our site and we'll pay you 3 cents a word. That's not money. I want to show you what I've learned where you can actually make $1,500 from one person who needs you to write 2 or 3 pages for their website. Those types of things. Those are the types of things that writers don't know about because people are not telling us. And there are people out here who are making a killing writing books, putting them up on Amazon, and making a lot of money with, teaching about specific topics, but they're not the ones who are writing the book. They're paying a writer to do it. So why can't you be that writer? That was my little ramble for writers. So tonight, all I wanted to do was introduce you to Google. And I wanted you to see about the Google keyword planning tool. And I want you to start to use that to find out if what you're going to be writing about, or even if you're selling stuff, whatever you're going to be selling, you want to make sure that there's an audience looking for your book. Now, I did show you about the romance niche, right? So let's just say that I showed you, like, let's just go to Google for a minute. This is my big computer. It's so slow. Okay, so if we type in teen romance books, now you can see there are lots of teen romance books. They show you these bookstores and these book sites basically that have, the teen romance novels, Amazon, and all that. So, you know, that's probably why that wouldn't be like the perfect niche to go into. But if you could find something that has a small amount of shares, like that 20 to 30,000, like I told you, amount of searches a month, that would be something good for you to focus on and dominate. Now, my next hangout I'm going to plan is going to um my next hangout that I'm going to plan is going to go more in depth with how to choose a niche. Like, I'm actually going to show you the top niches that I've learned. There are 20 of them that you can go into. If you go into these niches, you can make a lot of money writing. I promise you. And one of them in particular is one that a lot of people probably don't even know exists. So that's what the next one is going to be about. So like I said, I do apologize for this webinar. I mean, this was my first one, and there were a few technical difficulties, like some things I probably should have set up before and things like that. But you live and you learn. Okay. So what I want you to do is, let's see here. I see like I'm about to play with something else here. And I just made my screen just disappear. Okay, so I'm going to go into this chat over here. And I don't know how to do it. So if anybody knows how to do the chat, can you let me know how to do the chat? Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to go to my website, which is www.sandranpeoples.com, and register over there for webinars. And I want you to tell me what you want to know as far as, your writing career goes. What are your questions? What are your concerns? So that I'm not just making webinars based on what I think you might want to learn. And then Um, go over to the blog. I have a blog over there. It's www.sandraNpeoples.com/blog. Go over there, read the blog. There's some very good information over there too about building your brand and your following and all that good stuff. Okay, so if there are no questions, then I'm going to end this webinar. I told you it wasn't going to be long. And I don't see any questions. Okay. So I don't see any questions. So if you were listening live, thank you. Send me your feedback to coachsand@gmail.com and let me know how I can improve my webinars. Tell me what you liked. Did you learn anything? Did you not learn anything? And let me know. Okay, so the next webinar will be next week. I promise you it'll be better than this one. I will make sure of that. All right, so thank you for watching. This is Sandra from SandraNPeoples.com. Have a great evening.